Hello there guys, welcome back to Younes Talks Football, welcome back to a brand new video. I hope all of you are doing well today. For those of you that tuned into my watch along and you saw exactly what went down, we went through it all but we have made it, and you can see how happy I am just for the fact that we got the job done. Chelsea are in the FA Cup semi-finals. Yes, we are on our way to Wembley. Get in there. As much as I've already said I don't think semi-finals should take place at Wembley, but hell, we're going to Wembley. That's done. 2-0 win against Sheffield United, 1 goal off my prediction. I said 3-0, and the way that the game planned out today, it wasn't exactly a 3-0 performance. Although, I think that despite having those tough moments and despite seeing Sheffield United really come at us to try and get something out of the game, which they almost did, and they had a couple of chances where they really should have equalised, it's nice to see that in those different circumstances of the game, which I'm going to get into, we managed to claw out that result. We managed to stay strong. We managed to stay solid enough, and we hit the counter-attack to kill the game off at the very, very end. So, very good to see. Before we get into today's nitty-gritty, I'm going to ask you guys, if you are new, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell to be notified once I've uploaded. Check out my Patreon, link in the description, patreon.com/YTF for extra content that you don't get on here. My podcast clips channel as well, link in the description. And let's get into today's nitty-gritty. Starting off with the starting 11. Now, there was a whole situation that happened with the starting 11 on Chelsea's social media platforms because the admin, especially on Twitter, had an absolute nightmare. I don't know if he was out last night. I don't know if he's had too many beverages, maybe some herbal essences, but he was on something. And I don't know what it was, but afterwards, putting out the lineups with all the mistakes that he done, crazy. Chelsea had 2 lineups put out. One was completely wrong, and on the app, there was the correct one. And all of a sudden, he just kept rectifying. 4 times they had to rectify mistakes till we got this, which I'm about to show you. This is how Chelsea lined up today. Starting with Kepa Arrizabalaga in goal, stepping in for Edouard Mendy. We had Hudson-Odoi at right wing back. Christensen, Zuma as our centre-backs, alongside Emerson, who was playing as a left centre-back as well. Chilwell as left wing-back. We had Mateo Kovacic, Billy Gilmour. Yes, Gilmour coming into the side under Thomas Tuchel, which was really good to see. Both of them as a double pivot. Mason Mount returned after his suspension against Atletico Madrid. Pulisic alongside him and Olivier Giroud up front. Now, the balance of this team was still there. You know, yes, loads of rotation, loads of players coming in that don't normally get a game. I mean, you're looking at Pulisic starting, you're looking at Emerson starting, you're looking at Billy Gilmour starting, Christensen's return from illness, Kepa starting the game. You know, there were players there that we had an opportunity to see today. And the first half, I think, had a pretty much, you know, Chelsea dominant kind of scenario all over it. But Sheffield United being very compact, trying to contain us a lot, trying to block off those first initial passing lanes because they know that we like to play out of the back. They know that we're very effective at passing from the back now, which is something I never thought I'd say. You know, how many times, especially at the beginning of this season and last season, were we looking at ourselves trying to play out the back and we were just doing mistake after mistake after mistake. Now under Thomas Tuchel, we've seemed to adapt very, very well, and we've managed to find some methodologies and a way in order to effectively pass out of the back. And we do it in such a manner and at such a speed where it's very, very hard to try and stop us from doing so. So Sheffield United's plan, you could see from the get-go, was to not commit too far, but press high enough to try and block off those first passing lanes that they know we go into when we pass out of the back. And they were very successful at that. We were having a hard time. Sometimes we had to go over the top. Sometimes we would find one man that would come deep, like a Pulisic, for example, in order to try and take the ball and drive with it. Kovacic we saw a couple of times. Billy Gilmour with his link-up was very good, but every time we got the ball too near the box, you could just see it was a big pink wall, 6-man defence, very hard to get through, very hard to take some shots. And we went 1-0 up. We went 1-0 up having no shots, which is crazy. Because statistically, by the time we scored the first goal, Sheffield United had 2 shots on goal. Sheffield United had 1 shot on target. We had none, no shots on goal, no shots on target. But we were 1-0 up. And you're probably asking, how the hell did that happen? Well, Ben Chilwell on the edge of the box receiving the ball, who went for the shot, was going off target. I think it's safe to say that was not going in. But hit the defender on the way in. Norwood committed for the slide tackle. It hit him, went into the net, sent Ramsdale all over the place, hits the net, 1-0 Chelsea. And at this point, you're probably thinking, you know what? Now Sheffield United are going to come at us. Now Sheffield United are going to try and attack. Now Sheffield United need to open the game up. Now this is going to be a little bit easier. Well, flipping out, it wasn't easier. In fact, it probably got harder. We moved into the second half and you could see that Sheffield United were attacking. They were starting to get a bit braver. They knew they had to chase a result, but they were very effective in doing so. All of a sudden, it wasn't just like them trying to contain and us finding it difficult to get through. We were trying to hit them on the counter, which we did a couple of times, but every time Sheffield United did come at us in the second half, you could just sense that, hey, you know what? They might score. They might score. They might do something. And they had opportunities. You know, McGoldrick, for example, with that header. Great ball into the box. Centre-back's not really keeping marker on him. Lands right into his path. And somehow, he hits it wide. He hits it wide, which leads me to believe that Tuchel Juju is in fact a real thing. We do not concede. We do not lose. And that's how it's going to be from now on. As the game progressed, we got into the latter stages of the game. We saw the introduction of Havertz. We saw the introduction of N'Golo Kante. We saw the introduction of Hakim Ziyech. And, you know, there was some defensive subs as well with Azpilicueta and Reece James a little bit earlier, just to try and bolster our defence a little bit, which you could say kind of worked, kind of didn't, because the opportunities that Sheffield United got were when Azpi was on the pitch and Reece James was on the pitch. So, you know, fair play to Sheffield United for having a go at the end, but that resulted in a deadly counter-attack. Once again, just like the Atletico game, in the dire seconds of the match, we score a second goal to kill it off, and it hits your man Hakim Ziyech that slots it into the bottom corner. Fantastic from Kovacic with the drive, hits it to Ben Chilwell. Ben Chilwell finds a little cross into Hakim Ziyech. Great control, feeds it right into his path, smashes it into the bottom corner. 2-0 Chelsea. And Chelsea are off to Wembley, FA Cup semi-finals. Bring it on. If I have to give some individual praises today, I think it's safe to say Pulisic got man of the match. Now, I know there's going to be split opinion on this because some are going to remember the chances that he missed and they're going to say, hey, he doesn't deserve man of the match. And I can see with a fraction where you're coming from with that. But everything he done except his finishing was perfect. The way that he was dribbling, his work on and off the ball was great, superb. He was looking like Pulisic of old at some aspects in that game. But his finishing was the only concern. You saw the skills and the way that he managed to get past loads of players, which was very, very instrumental. But he would set himself up with a fantastic opportunity, and instead of working the keeper, or at least just, you know, trying to get it on target, he would just hit it and it would just go straight to the goalkeeper or he'd miss. And I'm just like, Pulisic, what are you doing? You can't be not working the keeper from that range. You know, it's as simple as that. But aside from that, he done everything well. So fair play to Pulisic aside from his finishing. He needs to do better at that. I think we need to give some praises to aspects of our backline. You know, Christensen, Zuma especially. Zuma had a very good game. Chilwell, Emerson, you could say, both had decent games. Not their best performances, but decent games. Chilwell better than Emerson, I would say, a little bit, at least defensively. However, I want to give some praise to Mateo Kovacic and Billy Gilmour especially. Billy Gilmour today looked decent. Again, not his best game. I don't think it was anyone's best game. Don't get it twisted. But Billy Gilmour sometimes on the ball, just brilliant. You know, the way he sees other players and their runs, his vision is just second to none. I think there's a reason why he's called Billy Esther. I think that is how people call him, Billy Esther, because, you know, he is like a little Iniesta. It's just how it is. It's great to see. Giroud looks a little bit isolated. Mason Mount didn't have his best game at all. Was very physically dominated on the ball multiple times. But I have to give one little concern here to the referee. You know, how in the blue hell has he not booked Bulldog of Sheffield United, with the amount of challenges that Bulldog went into, and many of them were yellow card offences? Not one yellow card was shown today. Absolutely unbelievable. So, cause for concern for the ref there, but aside from that, look, tactically I think Thomas Tuchel did everything quite well. I think in the aspects of the game where we were playing against Sheffield United that were defensive, where we were playing against Sheffield United when they were offensive, when we were playing against them when they were containing, all those different aspects and portions of the 90 minutes, tactically, we set out a job and we done it. So I'm very, very happy with the result. The main important thing is we are on our way to Wembley. Despite it not being the best or most entertaining game, many aspects of that game felt like a training session, I think we can admit. But we got the job done. We're 2-0 winners going into the semi-final of the FA Cup. We're on our way to Wembley. We take that blue flag to Wembley. From Stamford Bridge to Wembley, just like the song goes. But let me know what you think in the comment section below. Let me know what you thought on today's performance. You know, some of the performances. One player that I didn't mention, and I think he deserves praise here, Kepa. Let's give some praise to Kepa. I didn't mention him and I should have. Kepa had a very good game today. Pulled out some good saves, especially a couple of times where we had to rely on him and he was there to save the day. So fair play to Kepa. To be honest, if you're looking at the entire team, probably one of the best players today, Kepa. So fair play to him. Very happy with his performance. But again, yeah, let me know in the comment section below what you guys reckon on today, on the performances and the collective as a whole. Thomas Tuchel, the result on our way to the semi-final, Wembley. Let me know. I would love to hear it. Hit the subscribe button if you are new. Hit that notification bell to be notified once I've uploaded. Don't forget to check out my links in the description. My Patreon, patreon.com/YTF for extra content. New podcast will be dropping tomorrow with a special guest, so make sure you're tuned in for that. The podcast clips channel as well on YouTube. Make sure you are subscribed and check out my Twitter and my Instagram. They are in the description as well. So also, little announcement that I'm going to be making here. I will be doing a live reaction to the FA Cup semi-final draw. It'll be a quick 10-15 minute reaction, but it's at half-time between Leicester and Manchester United, which is later on, in about a couple of hours from now, at the time of this recording. So make sure you're tuned in, 5:45 UK time. If you're watching this before it happens, then tune in, watch along for the FA Cup semi-final draw, and maybe we can bring ourselves some luck, just like we had it in the Champions League draw. Maybe we get Southampton, just like we got Porto in the Champions League draw. If we get Southampton, that would be beautiful, beautiful. But I will see all of you then. Thank you all so much for watching. Have a good one. Look after yourselves. Take care, and peace.